Welcome back, guys. I am back live for good. Um, this storm is weakening dramatically. The circulation has weakened a lot dramatically. And then this line of severe storms is about to run into it, so it doesn't have much. It's breathing this last breath. I really do believe once before it hits Central City, Kentucky. Um, I really do think this storm that's still producing a violent, destructive tornado on the ground. Western Kentucky is breathing its last breath. It is weakening a lot before it. But if you're in Central City, Kentucky, Greenville, Kentucky, please still take shelter immediately. This is still a serious situation. And if you're in Garham or Depoy or South Carlton or Berman, you are not walking to shelter, you're running to shelter because this is still a serious situation going on. All right, welcome to stream. Uh, a prolific tornado has just ripped through parts of western Kentucky, and the storm that did produce a tornado is weakening dramatically, which is a very good thing. But the storm is still there. It's still dangerous. So please take shelter if you live in Central City or Greenville, Kentucky, or South Carlton or any other areas. And make sure to like the stream and comment any questions you have below. Yes, I agree, Catherine Hunter. Um, so please, guys, share the stream. Because the storm's still causing problems. It'll still cause hail and strong winds. And then the storm even behind that is causing some very destructive winds as this line of strong storms, the severe storms, are pushing the storm out. But the storm is being choked up by some convection from the south, which is cutting off. Not instability, excuse me, inflow, my bad. But now the storm has weakened a lot, but is still potentially producing a tornado. But the storm has history of producing a very historical, violent tornado. Yes, the radar is on an app. It's called Radar Omega. It's but sadly you have to pay for it. But there are other radar apps that are free. But I use the more advanced stuff than typical average person would use. So obviously, yeah. But thankfully, the storm is weakening a lot. Thankfully, directly it is in the Google App Store or Apple App Store, whatever you use, iOS, etc. Or you could go on the Radar Omega website and you just click the link and it'll just directly take you to it. One of the two. All right, so if you're in Western Kentucky and Central City or Greenville, Kentucky, please take shelter immediately. A life-threatening storm is moving your way, but thankfully the good news is that it is weakening, which is a very good thing. That's what you want to see, because the history of the storm produced a very historical tornado just moments ago, like for about an hour, as it teared a path from Martinsville all the way from the border of Illinois, basically. But the tornado warning is still observed, even though the rotation is not as prominent. You're, you're welcome. Troy, it's called Radar Omega. You can find it on the App Store or the excuse me, RO. If you have an Apple phone, it's the Apple Store or whatever. But if you have an Android, just use Google, the Google Play Store or whatever. But you have to pay for it. It's like, I think like $6 or $7 or something like that. Okay, so if you're in the stream, a destructive tornado just went through parts of western Kentucky. But thankfully, the good news is that it could be still there, but it weakened dramatically, which is what you want to see, because the storm's being choked off pretty much, basically from a piece of excuse me, that is choking off the instability, and then storms behind in front of it are racing towards it, which will slam into it, which will basically screw it up. You live in Jersey and there's crazy storms now. Yeah, there's been some interesting storms in Virginia. Based the Mid Atlantic, whole Mid Atlantic, there's been some weird storms, yeah. And then there'll be more interesting storms tomorrow with that slight risk for severe storms, might be even enhanced. We'll just have to see what that morning convection does. All right. Yeah, 899 is reasonable. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, because it's advanced stuff more than the average person would use if you don't really care about weather and all that stuff. So yeah, it's pretty reasonable. And then even like you can pay like each month like a certain amount, like to have even more stuff with the radar. Like you can get the 3D stuff, you can get more radar stuff, you can get more like satellite images, more, you can even get the models itself. You just subscribe to it or whatever. Gosh. Yeah, this is really wild. It's just crazy how quick this storm could produce a violent tornado and how quickly it can just die out. It's just very unstable. But it's not over. Still, there's still a storm that could produce a tornado, but it's not as serious. It's still serious, but not as serious as what it used to be. Um, yes, but still, there's still some rotation, but it's very broad. And then all this is just damaging winds from this line of severe storms. For 60 miles per hour winds and quarter size hail. But pretty much the storm's probably pretty much done, but I would not be surprised if it tried to produce a tornado again due to its environment. But since this line of storms is disrupting it, it might give it a lot of problems if it would try to produce a tornado again. But I would say at this point, since it is 9:31 Central Time, it probably about now these storms would be converging into a line, so then it'll become more of a damaging wind threat than a tornado threat. But I would not rule out another tornado or two potentially. Yeah, I heard about that even. What the Carolinas look like? Um Tomorrow there might be some some severe storms in the Carolinas tomorrow, in Virginia, in the Mid Atlantic tomorrow, with a slight risk of scattered severe storms that would be possible. Ian, okay. Um, but it might be pretty interesting. I might chase that tomorrow. It might even go enhanced, but the main threats will be for the Carolinas tomorrow will be more hail and damaging winds, with, but then more into Virginia and Maryland and Delaware and Jersey, New Jersey will be more of a tornado threat with, as long with the hail and damaging winds. You're welcome, Ian. You're welcome anytime, buddy. I appreciate that. you're curious and have questions. I like that. Even though sometimes it can be a bad thing depending on the situation of the weather, but still. Hey Stan, how you doing? All right. So wow, chat. Wow, it's I'm very I'm more happy that the storm is being cut off and weakening a lot. The tornado, I believe, is gone. It just it would in the moments ago produced a life changing, once in a lifetime. I really think, in my opinion, life changing tornado in Arlington, Kentucky, and other parts of Western Kentucky. But thankfully, it is weakened a lot. But the rotation is still broad, so I still think it has some life in it still. But I think it's breathing its last breath as the QLCS is running into it, and then eventually it'll just emerge with it, and it'll just be cut off. Hopefully, is what I think. In my opinion, of check Illinois, sure. So Illinois, your threat, you're severe. You're pretty much good, buddy. If you live in Illinois, you're pretty much good with severe weather, in my opinion. Yeah, you're pretty much good because once this line passes, you're pretty much good. Because that line just passed Central Illinois, so you should be all right, buddy. Besides maybe some lighter rain, maybe a little bit of flooding from the rain, but other than that, you should be good, buddy. You should be good, buddy. Yep, you're all good. I'd say that the severe threat for you for today is pretty much done. Because once this line passes, you're pretty much done. You might have a little bit of rain afterwards, but you should be good, buddy. You want to play Fortnite? Okay, buddy. Have fun with that. I don't even play Fortnite, guys. I'm a boring person. I don't play Fortnite. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I could just say about now that this tornado is pretty much gone, but it still has a little life in it. So that's why they have those tornado warnings, because there's still very broad rotation, but it's not as serious. Thanks, Ian. I appreciate it. Crap. Okay, so if you are in Greenville, Weir, or Belton, or Rochester, Kentucky, please take shelter immediately. This storm that did recently produce a violent tornado is still trying to reproduce a tornado, but it will have some difficulty doing so. But please still take these warnings seriously just in case something does happen again, because this storm does have history of that issue. Especially just watching the southern part of the storm that could spin up a tornado once again. As you could see, it's trying to put once again inflow into the storm, even though it's an odd, weird look, but it might try to produce a tornado once again. Hopefully not, though. But even if you don't get a tornado, you will get a wall of wind that will slam these areas. And there's no way of getting out of that either. It's going to hit everywhere, which is not the best thing, but So yeah, so any storms that get ahead of this line could do the same thing that the storm just did, where it produced that once in a lifetime, in my opinion, violent tornado in western Kentucky. But still, to still watch the storm, and even though it has a tornado warning and the rotation is very weak and broad, still please take it seriously, because you never know what may happen with the storm. It's unpredictable. Your brother lives in St. Louis. St. Louis is in Missouri. Missouri. No, the storm that I'm talking about, it is not in Missouri. Actually, St. Louis is actually pretty good for right now. St. Louis, the severe threat is pretty much done for St. Louis. It had some large hail and damaging winds earlier, but not much. And one tornado warning also, but it didn't produce a tornado. Because the good thing about supercells or tornadic thunderstorm is that if it doesn't produce a tornado, then it'll most likely produce very large hail. Because it can't produce both at the same time. It just can't. So if it's producing a tornado, then the hail won't be as bad. Yeah, the QLC is just the line of severe storms. The wind bag is just sucking it up pretty much. So it's probably life and it is probably coming to an end, I could say, to an extent. Wow, that's some very strong winds behind that. That's crazy. Almost 70 miles per hour winds within the storm. That's crazy. Okay, let's go back to velocity real quick. Oh crap, darn it, what happened? You worked in a severe thunderstorm today? Oh, well, I hope it wasn't too. I hope it didn't suck too badly for you. Oh, your little brother's in Shawnee County or Shawnee Town, Oklahoma. That's cool. Yeah, you must be a strong person if you worked in that crap. Yeah, nothing can scare you now since you worked in that. Idaho? Okay. Louisville? Why? Oh. Okay, so. Yeah, now it's just more severe wind. Yeah, damaging winds from central Indiana all the way down to Missouri, southern Missouri. Yeah, this is gonna be a lot of damage when the sun rises tomorrow morning. Sadly, because this is a lot from Bloomington, excuse me, Indiana, all the way down to Poplar Bluff.